Greetings. Big thought for today is my electric bike is broken. I gotta fix the electric motor part of it. But anyway, um, big word for today: co-optation. Another word: gatekeeping. Another word: shepherding. Another word: co-optation. Co-opted. Did I already say that? Co-optation. So before, uh, after the failure of the economic system, the economic elites, and our investment class in 2008, 2009, and banks got bailed out, we got sold out. There was this rare moment of class consciousness in America, and there was this language of the 1% versus the 99%. That was the language. It was very popular. And Bernie Sanders, as a candidate in presidential primaries, was able to take that sentiment, that 1% versus the 9%, and become a wildly popular candidate. Even though the Democratic Party was kind of stuck in the doldrums with some old corrupt demons they left inside the Hillary team and all that kind of stuff. They were trying to play identity card. Maybe you're going to vote for a woman, that's nice. That kind of thing. So Obama had completely failed them, the hope and change president. He accepted Mitt Romney care, total sellout to the HMOs, and put his name on it, Obamacare, and that had driven a lot of working class people's premiums to actually triple. People with tripled and doubled premiums were really bummed out. And then when they complained about that, they were called racist by their more wealthy friends that already had great plans with private equity firms. So that was some of the kind of background. And the 1% versus the 99%, all that kind of stuff. Again, kind of co-opted. Nothing happened. But Bernie was able to run on it. So the establishment did everything they could. Got out their big guns and their media, all their friends in the media, and did everything they could to block Bernie. And in so doing, it made themselves even more ugly than they already were. If it was possible for Hillary Clinton to become even more ugly after her team's just blatant attack on the Bernie bros, Bernie people, Bernie voters, she was even more ugly after that. And so, that sucked. And then you got this faux populist demagogue named Donald Trump, which then the establishment is able just to keep you completely hyper-focused on Donald Trump the whole time. So by Bernie co-opting that real resistance, that real idea of the 1% versus the 99%, so here comes a career politician from the Senate, takes that message, co-opts that message, pretends he's really going to run with it, but then he ends up, in the end, he shepherds you back over to Hillary. He doesn't demand anything from her before he endorses her. He says, "Oh God, Trump is so scary. We got to get endorse Hillary real quick, and we're gonna get no demands. We're gonna make no demands on Hillary. We're gonna get nothing from her. And even though she insulted us horribly and spent every last dime to block me, I'm now going to endorse her with no conditions, unconditional endorsement." So very big disappointment. Nothing progressive, nothing new, just total crap. The Democrats have no agenda, no likable candidate, and all they have is they're better than Trump. That's it. And so we're back at this. We're stuck at this because Trump gets voted back in for a second term, 2020. And the Democrats' answer to that is to let the same establishment dark money jerks take it down, co-opt what would be a real resistance moment. You don't like Donald Trump, you don't like militarism, you don't like Zionists, you don't like all this kind of stuff. Now's your big moment, now's your big time. But unfortunately, you're not gonna do it. You're not gonna do anything. You're gonna go to protests that are organized by the likes of Arabella advisors, now calling themselves, that Arabella advisors is so shamed now, so associated with the powers that be, that they've had to change their name to Sunflower Services. But yet, they're still the primary giant funders. Was it 5150, New Venture Fund, Hopewell Fund, same old funds of billionaire Wall Street investors who want to keep everything safe. They control that protest movement by co-opting it and guiding it. See, it's not that you have to prevent the speech altogether, but you just have to guide it. And now it's safe and guided. And so now it's the Sunflower Services is the dark money network behind No Kings. And unfortunately, what they're taking now, what they're reducing and co-opting away into sterile, impotent nothingness, is the idea of a general strike. They're actually taking a real tactic from the past that has been really awesome for the working class. It ended up in the 8-hour workday, overtime pay, vacations, child labor laws, all these kinds of things. That stems out of a struggle for the 8-hour workday. Anarchist labor organizers of the past, which was something very real, something very good. What the No Kings, Rockefeller, Tides Foundation people are doing, calling it a general strike, is going to be impotent, lame, and whiny. And it won't confront real power because it's funded by real power. So that's the problem. It becomes another symbolic kind of a tit for tat. People over here, oh, we're smart and cool, and you're all Trump racist. It's just like more dividing of the working class. Nothing that unites them or informs them, unfortunately, or gets them ahead. But it's something that holds out this carrot of a general strike and then becomes really disempowering and lame. And that's quite sad. All right, have a good one.